favorite people. Two favorite people with a bunch of other favorite people all here for Heart Wisdom Panel. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Macklin, thank you for everything that you do. Yay. So hey, guess what we're doing today? Pride celebration. Yay.
Yeah.
I I I can't even tell you, like I so need some celebration. So, oh, and look, Brenda's already. What are you flitting up there in your I loved that. What were those?
Oh,
Party
it was just
horns.
like, yay.
I love I loved it. So yeah, I think maybe I can speak for everyone in the world when I say we could use a little more celebration. I'm going to just go ahead and say that. And so yay Pride, yay June, yay for our authors. Oh, hi Sophia, good to see you. We've got three guest authors today. Dr. Kim, which I love to say the name Dr. Kim because we were just talking about that. Jodie Anders and Duncan, who is here both as a guest author and also as co-founder of Books That Save Lives, along with Brenda. Yay! So I'm very excited to see where we go today, both where our joy goes and also where we can lean in a little bit to like, how can we really support people right now during this incredibly challenging time in the world? So I'm going to start and have our guest authors introduce themselves. Dr. Kim, this is your first time on the Heart Wisdom panel, and welcome. Do you want to
Thank you.
start? And while you're introducing yourself, one of the things that I was hoping is that you might also give us a personal look at why this Pride right now in 2026 is especially important to you personally. And how,
So I'm Dr. Kim. My main day job is I'm like a mind body chiropractor. So a lot of my writing comes from like a somatic, like a mind body informed kind of lens. That's and my book with Books That Save Lives is called Booze to Balance, and I didn't bring it with me. I'm traveling, so I can't show you. But it's like a 30-day mind body focus program on how to really love your liver. So whether you're trying to like cut down on drinking or just give your body some more love, that's what that book is about. And this Pride I think is so important because I feel like for a lot of years, at least for me, I kind of like skated along and I thought, oh, our work is done here. And it's not done apparently. So things are happening and I feel like it's time to to make some noise again and to, to be more visible and to be more of a force and not so passive like I think too long we were like, oh, it'll be okay and can't happen here and whoa, crazy things are happening, so it's time to roll up our sleeves again, I guess.
I love that. And I'm so glad to finally meet you face to face. It's so great to have you here. And again, Booze to Balance, right, is the title of your book. I'm sorry too that I don't have it here, right here to hold up, but I know that Macklin is posting all of the book links in the chat, so I hope people will take a peek. And before I go to our other authors, I just want to welcome, we've had some people come in since we said hello. So, hi, Ralph, good to see you. Hey, Krishna. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Therese. I think we've got everybody else saying hello. Good to see all of you. Thanks for being here. So let's go next to Jody. Hi, Jody. Oh, you're muted, honey. Will it let you? It won't let you? Here. Macklin, there you go.
Yay, there we go. Hello.
Mhm. Hi. So same question to you, like introduce yourself, let us know about your work and your book, Queer Cheer, but also why this year feels especially important to you
Yeah,
personally.
absolutely. Well, hello. It's good to be back. And I am sort of a jack of all creative trades. I act, I write, I do some stuff behind the camera, post-production, you name it. And basically, I, as a bisexual creator and writer, wrote a book with Books That Save Lives that is queer cheer, advice, affirmations, and activities for LGBTQ teens. And I've also worked with teens through my nonprofit that teaches leadership skills as well as doing podcasts on strengthening confidence and things like that. You name it. Um, but gosh, okay, so why is pride important? It's kind of weird. Last year and this year feels a little bit blurry in purpose, but there's sort of a more quiet intensity for me this year in that, like, just saying that we're still here. Um,
Huh.
it's so important to be visible and to keep showing up and fighting for the things that we have to fight for. As you know, every day it feels like you wake up and there's something going on that's, potentially eroding our rights or just making it harder to live and be authentic. So, um, yeah, I would say Pride is a time to shine hope in the face of all of that and just be us.
Oh, Jody, I love that. Shine hope and be us. That's you were you were talking earlier with me about like different slogans, and that's a good one, right? Isn't it? Shine
Yes,
hope and be
yeah.
us. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. And it is great to have you back. And I always love your color that you bring, including, I hope if people are looking in the chat, I love your book covers so much. It's just makes me want to,
Oh, yes. So
yeah.
much color.
Yeah. And like it just feels like so much life and inclusion and love in it. So I love that. Well, thank you. Good to see you.
Well, thank you. Good to be here.
Mr. Duncan, hello, hello.
Hi,
Same to
Sherry.
you. I know you have your own book, Money Magic, and I'm also interested in what makes this particularly an important pride for you.
Um, for me, the way I'm celebrating Pride this year is I'm going to Alabama, to a sacred harp singing. I can explain what that is, but it takes a while. But it's this, a traditionally Christian gathering, and the man running it, he started singing as a woman in the church many years ago, Bridge Hill Kennedy. And he was ostracized, obviously, or not obviously, but not unsurprisingly, by a lot of the church when he became the gender that he had always believed himself to be. So I'm going to support him in a singing he's having in Birmingham. And there's going to be like hundreds of us. So it should be a good experience.
Duncan's exercising his
Yeah, I
superpower.
cry easily. I forgot to warn people in advance.
Oh, Duncan. Oh my gosh, but that's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for bringing us that. I mean, talk about hope, right? That Jody was just mentioning hope. And thank you for bringing us your emotion too. Like we need it. It's like this world of robotic, AI, like let's not show our feeling. I love it. Thank you. It's a gift.
Sure.
It's really a gift. Thank you. It's a gift to have you here.
Thanks.
Yeah. And Miss Brenda, we always love having you as the other co-founder of Books That Save Lives. And I always love your stories about our authors. Curious if you have any for us today.
Oh yeah, well I'm literally proud that like we're having our Pride event. It's very important to me. I think many of you know I grew up in West Virginia, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, maybe the weirdest little town in America. But I think that like probably like my high school friends were closeted, but literally like the minute I went to college, like my first new friend at college was a gay man, Michael Gothard, and like he took me to drag shows, which I was just I couldn't unbelievably like thrilled by, and even like I think inspired in certain fashion and makeup choices. Um, and then like I went home and like I very excitedly told my mom about like my new friend Michael Gothard, and I explained that he was gay, and like my mom like she probably I don't think she had any gay friends yet, but anyway she just said that's nice dear, and like she told me to like invite him home, and I did, and like so I was like pretty happy to be welcomed into the queer community at college. And so
Yeah.
I feel, I just feel like very, I mean, celebrating Pride for me, I guess, began when I was like 18, and it's grown in importance every year. And yeah, like Dr. Kim mentioned, I sort of thought maybe like during the Obama years, oh, finally, finally people are understanding that, like, like of course people are gay, like, it's totally normal, it's like super normal, it's who they are, it's no big deal, it's just whatever people need to be, like, be who you are, be your authentic self. And but like and then of course, like when Gavin Newsom waved his magic wand and like legalized gay marriage, like that was a major moment for me. And then like I went on, like, before Mango, before Books That Save Lives, I was actually a publisher at like one of the largest gay queer publishing house in America, like Cleus Press, which, like, so to me it's just like, yeah, of course. Yay. Like, this is completely normal. It's just like, it's a part of being human, and a beautiful part
Yeah.
of being human. So I guess I would like to say, yeah, we're gonna have to roll up our sleeves. And I believe we have our sleeves all the way up. I don't even think we're wearing sleeves anymore at the Books That Save Lives. There's not even any sleeves left, like, because we are wanting to make sure people get to be heard, their voices get to be expressed, and that like embracing queerness in like a fierce, loving way.
Oh, Brenda. Yay. Yeah. Well, and typically when we do the heart wisdoms, I think we might tend to start with like what's hard or challenging and work our way to the joy and the celebration. But I'm going to flip it on its head, because I'm already, I mean, we're just a few minutes into this, and I'm already like, I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to hear what you guys are all sharing, and I already feel the joy. And so I think it was Stephen Covey who said, let's start with the end in mind, right? So we're calling this Pride celebration. Um, Jodie, Dr. Kim, Duncan, whoever wants to go in, jump in first. But like, what can we celebrate? How can we celebrate in the midst of this kind of crazy culture that's been happening? Like, whichever one of you wants to jump in, let's talk about celebration first.
Mhm.
Uh-oh. Was
That's a
that?
good question. I'm still thinking. Jody and Dr. Kim are both on mute, so I guess I'll go.
Oh,
Um, uh, the
Mac, I'm sorry, Duncan. Can
Yeah,
can
Macklin can unmute them, but for now, I'll
yeah,
go while Macklin
please
works on
do.
that.
Yeah, please do,
How can we
Duncan.
celebrate? It's a good question. I mean, in some ways, being having known I was gay for so long, and having, finally come to a place many years ago where I was able to celebrate that fact, right around the time I met Brenda, actually. Um, it sort of comes natural to me to just say, well, not only is it normal, it's just it feels very everyday to me. And then I have to remember that it doesn't feel that way for a lot of people who are still struggling. I was watching a really good limited series last night called Half Man, where Jamie Bell is playing this guy who's too afraid to come out because his half brother, he thinks, is going to kill him if he does. So watching that reminded me, oh yeah, there's still plenty of people who are having the struggle, who need us to come out, show ourselves, be proud, wave our flag and say, yes, we belong and we're here. So we're queer and get used to it.
And you've got a flag behind you. I was hoping you might grab it and wave it a little.
Well, it's virtual, so I can't, but that's my bookshelf at home and I'm at my office.
Oh, Duncan, that is hilarious. I
Yeah,
expected you to be, well, we'll just imagine it, but I love that. Thank you.
sure.
And Dr. Kim, I see you're unmuted, and hopefully
Yeah.
Jody unable to get unmuted. Sorry. There you are. Yeah, Dr. Kim, what about you?
Yeah, I think I think that people can celebrate in their like personal private life, like in their like an embodied way. Like just a few hours ago, actually, I was at the Frederick Douglass House in Washington, D.C., and that was really interesting. And I don't think he was queer, but he caught a lot of shit for who he loved at the end of his life. You know, that was illegal at the time in a lot of places, and it was just really interesting to see, like, in his room he had little dumbbells, like he worked out, he lifted weights even as like an older guy, because it was important for him to be strong, like in his body. Like people wanted to kill him and hurt him, and he wanted not just to like fight in the ways he fought politically and writing and all, but he wanted to embody, to be able to fight if he had to. So sometimes we can feel helpless because we feel little compared to what's happening, but it can help to make your body stronger. Hopefully you don't have to kick anyone's ass, but
Oh,
it's just a feeling that can help you, that can help your mind and your body. It can help you feel good. Or, in his house, just the beautiful things he had around that really celebrated the things that he cared so much about. So celebrating, making sure your space lifts your spirit and celebrates the world you want to see, and making sure like you're nourished on that like personal embodied level, I think is important, even when you feel like you can't. Some people feel wherever, it's not, they don't feel as comfortable, celebrating in a big way. It makes such a big difference on the just a body personal level, um, to celebrate.
I love that. I really love everything that you're talking about. And while you were also speaking about being strong physically, or, being strong in our environment, and I was just looking around and thinking, this is a form of feeling strong too. Like being with people who are like-minded and who are willing to say what's true for them and for all of us. And so there's also obviously strength in numbers, right? Like, thank you. Brenda, I see you have your hand up, and then we'll go to Jodie.
Well, I felt like I was hearing the birth of a daily nugget from Dr. Kim. And what's funny, like when he was talking about the dumbbells and like seeing that and like being strong and body strength, just mental strength and embodied strength. But I had already actually had started putting like a little like here's how to sign up for the daily nugget, because the daily nugget is Dr. Kim's thing. It's a little you can sign up and get it every day in your inbox. And I'm telling you, there's one that I got this morning, and I'm saving it for my little afternoon break to spend like some time with the Daily Nugget. I listen to them out loud and imagine it's in Dr. Kim's voice. And I oftentimes do like the action. Like I think 2 days ago, it was like how to handle existential dread. And I forwarded that to like a whole bunch of people. And I was like, how often does somebody offer to help you with existential dread, people? So I am serious. Like, please sign up for the Daily Nugget. You'll say, "Oh my God, like Brendan wants to flood my inbox," but like you will not regret it. You'll be so happy and delighted and charmed, and you will be healthier.
I love that. Well, and while we're celebrating Dr. Kim, you also have a wonderful, I love your podcast. I forget, it's
Rainbows in the dark.
Rainbows in the Dark. Yes. So also let's also remember that, because I love that. They're
Well,
also
thank you.
they're also very short. Like they're like these
They're short.
they're wonderful bites of wonderful wisdom. So um okay, Jody, how about you? How do we find celebration amidst this crazy world?
Oh, well, first of all, I love Rainbows in the Dark. I might just have to like visually steal that somehow. I don't know, that's beautiful. Um, so I would have to say, I mean, if I think our kind of collective silence, mute aside, was, kind of obviously it is still tough out there, right? So just acknowledging that, yes, I know there's actually more like anti-LGBTQ bills that have happened this year and collectively every year for 5, 6 years increasing. But I think that celebrating the wins is one of the big things that like we can do to keep hope. And for me, like the fact that there's a lot of states or people, like in California, where we're looking at how do we shelter ourselves or find protections against everything that's going on. And
Yeah.
we're not the only ones that are doing that. There's ways we're collectively coming together to say, how can we protect ourselves? That is born out of the opportunity of strife to look at, ways that we can make sure in the future, maybe we don't have to go through all this mess anymore. Um, and I think, well, big part of that is our youth. If we look at how they're fighting, how open they are, the
Yeah.
unique ways that they are looking at banding together to fight through not only legal matters, but just resistance through art. Seeing that, our publishers are still willing to put our stories out there. There's a lot of joy and good to be found in the face of all of this.
Love that. I love that. Yeah. And something dropped in for me just when I was listening to all of you that came from, I think it was maybe a couple years ago. We did a Pride panel, I think specifically about supporting our youth, I believe. And
Mhm.
Brenda, I'm going to credit you. I think it was you who suggested this. But buying books, like buying books from our authors that are here right now, or any
Mhm.
others that we can either donate to youth centers, or I'm a big fan of buying books and putting it, we have a little free library in front of our house. And I love that because it's like anybody can have access to them. They're walking by and they see, for instance, Jodie's colorful cover, right? And then they just grab that book. So to me, that's a form of celebration, is also like the things that we can do that to me that feels like joy to be able to put a book in the little free library and hope that someone will find it who may not have it at their school library, for instance. So, was that your idea, Brenda?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah. And then I think that we had Tulane on there who was like the author of like oh my goodness
What's
like about like loving your children no
Yes,
matter what like
yes.
yeah, I'll think of it in a minute.
Did it have unconditional in the title?
Unconditional, yes, perfect, thank you. And like she said that like there's a couple of youth centers for queers that like she donates books to, like where she lives in I think Michigan area, rural Michigan. And she and like so she so we actually sent, because of that heart wisdom, we sent like a whole pile
Yeah.
of queer cheer and I think other books of Eric Ross Woods and Kathleen Archambault's to her, and then she distributed those. So find the helpers, I guess, like find the people, and like as I mentioned before, like I'm a country girl, like lived up a holler. So I think it's the rural queer and questioning teens that really need the extra love and support and books and free books and resources.
Yeah, and thank you, Brenda. Right. That has stayed with me, for years. And I've done it, with everybody's kinds of books, but I just love that. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
what a celebration. So going back to our authors, and then we'll open it up to anyone who's here because we love to hear from you too. But our authors, I'd reached out to them and was like, wow, there's so many things we can talk about. Where would you like to go? And there were so many great ideas. Jodie, I'm going to ask you, like, what's the one thing that you were like, oh, let's make sure that we get this talked about today?
Oh, okay.
Put you on the spot.
The one thing, oh my gosh, I know there's so many things that we can talk about. And it's just it's almost overwhelming to pick one. I guess I'm gonna say community. I mean, like even just what you were speaking about with how Brenda donated the books and I mean, each one of these acts, whether you're part of the LGBT community or you're an ally, the fact that we're coming together and working together to make things better for all of us, not just even our own community. All of these actions to move forward to equality and acceptance and inclusion, they benefit everybody. And if we work together to build this community, each little small action just, it brings more acceptance, it brings more joy, it brings more love, it stirs all these acts of resistance, whether they're from a legal standpoint, an art standpoint, just in the home, whatever it may be. And um, what was I going to say earlier? I think they had done a survey. Um, I have to look up who it was. I'm so sorry. Where there were actually higher percentages of the LGBT community showing that visibility is increasing, that people are more willing to be themselves, even in the face of everything that's happening now. And to me, that's because of community. It's because of people who step up and accept us and show us love and are willing to fight alongside of us. And that, to me, is the winning factor of how we'll survive.
I love that, Jodie. And I was secretly hoping you would start with community. So you must have gotten my little psychic message there.
I got
Because
it.
because when you were writing about it a little bit to us earlier, you also had a another possible attached question, and I'll throw this out to you or Dr. Kim or Duncan or anyone, which is that for someone who might feel like they don't have community, for someone who might be feeling isolated, where would we suggest that they start? And I thought that was a beautiful question and a really helpful one, especially in this era where a lot of people do feel like they don't belong.
I think that's another kind of weirdly beautiful thing. Maybe this is a rainbow in the dark.
Oh,
But I think that's another weirdly beautiful thing of what happens out of tragedy and strife. COVID gave us a lot of opportunities to gather together online,
yeah.
communities that built online, things like that. So I would suggest, for example, if someone was in a rural area where there maybe wasn't a lot of their own like queer community around them, that they could go online and search for, it doesn't even have to just be, queer community broadly. They could maybe be avid readers and find a queer book club. They could
Oh,
find a eco warrior club that is, queer like memberships, things like that. And then if maybe they didn't have online access, because I know that's a possibility, um, going to the library or finding spaces where maybe people might be a little more open-minded, theater or things like that.
yeah.
Finding
Yeah.
adjacent communities where you can maybe just even talk about more broad-based concepts of having, equality and inclusion.
Ah, great ideas, Jody. I love that. I love that sort of like a little bit outside the box thinking too, so that people can reach out to, like you said, adjacent communities. Dr. Kim, do you have any thoughts on that, on community belonging?
Well, as like the world's biggest introvert, it's not my expert area of expertise, the whole group community thing, but there's always a way. I mean, I am really active in this thing called post crossing. It's like a postcard, random postcard mailing things. You mail random postcards to people around the world and they mail them back to you. So I've I've sent thousands of postcards because I'm very social at a distance, one by one. And I've actually started to like around the world there are meetups of these like postal nerds. They get together and sign each other's postcards and stuff. So the last few years I started actually hosting one in San Francisco a couple of times a year, and it's like the most wholesome hobby in the whole world. Like you don't know anybody's politics, and it's just totally random people. All you have in common is that you like to mail things, and and it's just so sweet. And I found that it's just been a nice way to just really connect with like people you definitely wouldn't have ever connected with before, and vice versa. And that's like a quiet thing that I think is healing, because a lot of this like legislation and garbage, this is all fear-based bullshit based on like fantasy caricatures of people, and a lot of people feel like, well, I don't know any queers, or I don't know any trans people or whatever, but once you do get to know some people like that, and you're like, oh, they're just a normal person. They run my postcard club, it breaks some
Yeah.
of that, it breaks that, and it just, and I think the that's really like, that's kind of the key to all the different prejudices and stuff, is just to have some kind of a normal relationship with somebody who's in that other group. So sometimes just a hobby that doesn't have seem to have anything to do with anything, but just gives you a way to be visible, and to have some kind of relationship with a group of people that doesn't have anything to do with anything that'll get you in big trouble, you know?
Love that so much. Oh, I want to come. First of all, I'm in San Francisco, so I had to slip that in there. But
Yeah.
I love what you're saying, and I love that you're showing up in this way, right? Like in a way that is like, we keep using the word authentic, in a way that's very authentic to you. Like, this
Yeah.
is what I love. This is how I show up, and this is how I'm changing the world, right? In my corner of the world. And I think that's so beautiful. That was great. Duncan, did you want to jump in? No pressure, but if you did.
Yeah, I guess because I told you I work at a library, and I didn't really it's a queer erotic library at the Tom of Finland Foundation in Los Angeles, and it's a huge feeling of community there, because there's artists and residents who come from all around the world to express themselves with complete freedom around their sexuality, and I think that's so difficult because there's kind of this horseshoe effect from the left and the right where people who are really far left say that pornography is evil, as do obviously people on the right. It becomes this like kind of challenged on from both ends of the political spectrum, so it's under more attack than other aspects, and it's part of what being visible and queer sometimes creates problems, because the leather community and the people that are
Hmm.
surrounding the Tom House. I mean, I want to put like a little leather jacket on the heart
Oh,
wisdom heart today, just to say we have a lot of, there's a lot of diversity in our community, and I
yes.
mean, being LGBTQ plus has a sexual component to it for almost everybody except for A-Rose and a couple of other identities. But I mean, there's gender and there's sexuality combined under our umbrella, and the sexual part is often like, well, we need it to be safe for the kids, or we need it to, there's different reasons why people don't want to see it. But anyway, my passion working in the library is working with Marty, this 75-year-old lady who's been in library science for years. And when she got there, the books were in disarray. There were all these comics and graphic novels that Tom of Finland had created that were just stacked up. And she put everything in order. And she found um, that a very important category in the library is fetish. And that's, the many little unusual quirks that people have around sex. And, you need books about it. You need to have books about it. They exist. It exists. There should be books. But the Library of Congress disagrees, and they categorize them all under deviance for many, many, many years. And so Marty broke it out. So there's the fetish category, and then there's, all the little, body fetish or leather or, feet, whatever it is, that she's got it all deep categorized because it's important. It's an important aspect to some folks' identity is, so we need to celebrate it. That's how I celebrate that difference through books, is by working in that library.
Oh, Duncan, I'm so glad. I was going to try to make sure I asked you about your library, and I'm glad you brought that in because, and
Good.
it's the way that you speak about it, it's so beautiful, right? Like,
Yeah.
just like, yeah, that's the way you celebrate, right? Through that. And I love that. Yeah.
And it's a sense of community.
Brenda, I know I know that you're really big on community in so many different ways, and I'm just curious, was there anything you wanted to add to this piece of it about people feeling like how they find that sense of belonging?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, I guess my mind immediately goes back to like being like a girl that lived up a dirt road and like pretty isolated. So I think, so I really feel like however it is we can like support the youth, like the young people in rural areas. And oftentimes that is a community center. Like, that's what the community centers are. And so, like, I know we're all crazily busy, except that I believe actually this is a part of what Jodie does, like 365 is like serve like youth community centers. But maybe we could all think about like adopting one, and it doesn't even have to be in your neighborhood. Like maybe we could adopt a teen community center in, you know, I don't know, Maine or you know, um, I don't know, anywhere, somewhere kind of rural, like a place, Ohio, like Montana, because I think that's I mean, one of the reasons why, I was so happy that I got to work with Jodie and Eric Rosswood on Queer Cheer and future books is because I'm a little bit of a worrier, some of you worrier and a warrior, I guess. But like I worry about the youth. Like I worry about what's it like to be a queer and questioning teen now. Like, so what can we all do to just ramp it up? Just, I mean, Jodie's doing it, like I said, 24/7, 365. But like, what can all of us do to ramp it up just a little bit? Like, what can we offer? What can we explore? What can we do? And maybe online, maybe that's one of the positive things about online is that like we can, we don't have to go to Montana or Maine. We can find them online and just like, put up cheery notes and affirmations and send them books or whatever, So like how can we serve? How can we ramp it up just a little?
Yeah, thank you, Brenda. I love that. I love that. I know you're always the voice for the young people too, which I appreciate, right? Like especially maybe like you said, those who are questioning and they might be full of fear over the culture. And that was so beautiful. Yeah. I want to open it up to anyone else who's here if you want to jump in on the community discussion or if you will have a question or a comment for any of our authors. I'm Ms. Rachel. Macklin, are you able to I'm sorry, I
Oh,
don't have
I
unmute
got
call.
her.
Yeah,
I got
there we go.
Um, First of all, I just want to say about the community, I love that you all answered very differently because I think that's one of the key things that is often missed is there's different personality types and we all have different purposes in this journey to do things a certain way. We have our warriors, we have our lovers, we have our our builders, we have our inclusivity and the people who do things quietly. They're all important. Each one's important. Just because they're not doing it our way doesn't mean they're not doing something important. Um,
Yeah.
my whole concept is from a loving place, and that's my whole brand. And it's because it's whatever comes from a loving place is a good thing. And loving means when you're loving things, it's all of humanity. It's seeing each other as humans. And that's core core bottom line. If we see each other as humans, we're gonna be okay. So if we can help see each other as humans, that's a huge step. I was lucky enough to start going to Provincetown, Massachusetts when I was a little girl going to the 4th of July parades there. And being a little inquisitive 5-year-old, I would just go up to people and ask them questions. And I never have changed since then. So I've always seen the human in people. I've always seen that. It's never been weird to me. And I feel blessed for that because I've been raised that way,
Wow.
to see humans. And that's one of the most, I think, disturbing parts for me in everything is when I see people not seeing each other as humans. And it could be in any way It's just missing it because when we lump a category as all,
Yes.
we don't see the human. And it doesn't matter what category it is, we don't see the human if we put people in all categories. So I love that you answer differently because it's important to celebrate each person's journey to lifting each other.
Oh, Rachel, that was so beautifully said. Thank you so much. I love that. I love that. That was awesome.
Well, thank you all for being here. I'm at quick choir too, so you'll see my eyes roll up through this whole thing because
Oh,
I this is important to me to celebrate humans and people and their journeys, and I just feel it so intensely.
no, I love our criers. I love it.
Me too. Clears the
I'm glad I'm
soul.
not the only one.
Oh no.
Macklin, honey, hi.
Hi. So, this story is gonna come out sounding rather horrifying. So this past Saturday, my boyfriend, who is trans, and I went to our local Pride Festival, in which we go to every year. And while we were standing there on the side of the sidewalk waiting for the parade to go by, where we would see many of our friends and community members walking. Right before that, there were a group of men walking, many of them in face mask and then wearing black suits, and they were holding a Nazi flag
Yeah.
and
Oh,
yelling uh anti-Semitic phrases and just uh horrible things against the queer community.
oh my God.
And they walked literally in front of us, and of course I don't think I probably said a word because I was in such shock. But I saw so many people not cower, but instead go and protest. They told them, "Why are you hiding behind a mask, you coward?" They said, "You don't belong here." All of these things that are rallied among power. And of course, excuse me, I got to see someone at a bar across the street throw their drink on them, which was quite beautiful as well. Um, and I hope that that person got a free drink because of it. Um, but then after that, of course, we were still shocked because absolutely what on earth is happening in here? And what low level of feeling do you have to have for you and your little friends to come here during a time of celebration? But then our community was able to come together and have a wonderful celebration
Oh,
where unfortunately the parade probably got delayed a little bit because everyone was cheering each other on and hugging one another, especially I probably slowed it down because I saw like 10 people I know from my local roller derby team and some friends from high school. But yeah, it was amazing to be able to see that unity, but to still have the utter shock of that that is still something. And that just reminds us that there is still so much work to be done to be in a place in a community, especially one where I live in, where yes, it's a lot of college students, but also it's a lot of young families,
yeah.
especially a lot of young queer families, for that to still be a thing that can happen. So, yeah.
Oh, Macklin, thank you for sharing that with us. That is an incredibly hard story as you started, right? It is. But it's also like I love the heroes of the story, right? I love that. Really, really loved hearing about people stepping in and joining forces together. Ralph, did you want to jump in?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you all for this great discussion. much needed at this time and all times, really. I was wondering because MAGA has dominated our conversations now for the last decade, unfortunately, and even though we know that MAGA, sorry about that, even though we know that MAGA influences people anyway, the people that are on the other side of the spectrum, MAGA also has influence over people on the left and how we behave, or maybe how we filter things, or what we don't do. And so I'm curious as to how that's affected and impacted the queer community in that way. And also, how do you deal with regressive elements in the queer community as we have it in the Black community and communities of color that aren't queer, obviously, because there are a certain number of us that are queer, which is why if you support Black people and people of color, then you should support queer people, because that our liberation is bound up in all of us being liberated. If none of us are free, if one of us are unfree, then all of us are unfree, and that's the point. But I'm wondering how you deal with the regressive elements in the queer community.
Regressive elements in the queer community. Ralph, can you
Like what?
I mean, is it kind of like
Are you talking about
like I know there's some L's and G's who want to kick the T's out of the LGBT,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
that kind of.
That part.
Log cabin.
Yeah.
Exactly. Conservatives, which I don't think I don't call it conservative anymore. I call it regressive. And so I don't think they're conservative. I think they're regressive. And at the very least, and racist and homophobic and transphobic and all of those other things as well, misogynistic. That's what they are. Let's call it what it is. So
I don't see them any different than everybody else. If you're gonna target somebody and say they can't live as freely and, with equality as the rest of us, then to me, you're not really part of our community. Like I grew up in high school being told, that being bi wasn't valid, and having to fight amongst, a lot of my own community. So I'm sure, very similarly with trans and a lot of other labels that have had to sort of find their place in the community. But we only move forward together the same way, even across non-queer spaces, like working together with the Black community or working together with anyone. If we don't all have equality, we're not free. We're not, so we have to work together. If you're against someone in any part of any group, then I would ask that person to look at their heart.
Yeah, I think it's also a case of a few things popped into my mind. One is that phrase hurt people hurt people. It's very hurtful growing up gay, and then sometimes you want to hurt somebody else, and it can even be somebody else in your own community, which is reprehensible in my mind, but I'm not saying it's right. I just trying to understand why it happens. And so I think that would probably be one comment I would make about it. And then I had another, but it kind of flew out of my head. So I think I'll let other people address the same concept.
Yeah, I think a lot about that same thing, the hurt people hurt people. I think about that a lot too. And the other thing I think to remember is, especially, I think there's a lot of overlap between queer people and neurodivergent people. And I think the neurodivergent people get really frustrated that, well, I try to explain it to this person and they're just not getting it. Like you have to remember, like, people are they're not in their logical brain. They're running off of emotions and fear and unconscious brain stuff. So it doesn't help to rationalize. Let me have a conversation with you. I mean, you of course we have to do that too, but it doesn't really move the needle. So part of what I think we have to do too when dealing with these people is, again, cultivate your own nervous system to where you can become kind of emanate from a place of like grounded certainty and love, and like so that you feel a certain way. Because if you feel scared and now you're in fight flight, and like if your nervous system feels combative and weird like that, then they're scared of something too, like they're feeling, and it just becomes this like echo chamber of like, you know, danger and something's wrong, and then we make stories about, well, why? Well, it must be because of this or that, but it's still coming just from that like animal, senses and non-rational things. So if you can keep showing up as a presence that feels safe and grounded and good, it's hard for them to play the fear fighty thing, because it doesn't work. It's like a dance. You can't keep dancing the same way if somebody's doing something different. So so I think, again, coming back to cultivating what is your energy, like what are you emanating in your little world and in your big world, can have a bigger impact than you think. It can be so frustrating to try and logic these people into sense, but they're not, it doesn't come from there. They're scared of something, scared and hurt, and it's not rational, you know.
Yeah.
So we're all making up stories.
Yeah. Brenda, and then I think maybe JJ wanted to jump in after.
Sure. Well, I wanted to go back to the young men. I'm going to guess they were young men that were masked Nazis. And I know that like at the end of the month, we're going to have Dr. John Duffy on talking about parenting. And part of what we do at Books That Save Lives is we have to do demographic research and everything for our marketing and positioning of the books. And so, um, thanks to Dr. John Duffy and his book about like the crisis with young men and boys and what's going on with them and in America, but actually not just America, but like maybe especially America now. Um, and then also not so young men, but like I did some research last week and I was shocked and stunned. Like there is a huge amount of young men and then men 50 and under that don't have one friend. They might have, they might be part of a family, they might be married, probably not. They don't have one friend. They have no mirrors to like
Wow.
to reflect them, their actions back to them, their being back to them. And they get easily radicalized, maybe they probably online. Another fact that I learned actually 2 nights ago doing research for a book, was that teens now might spend more than 9 hours on their phone, on their device, just trolling and scrolling. Maybe they get on Discord and they find other lonely young men that don't have friends and are angry and frustrated and attracted to like guns and violence and like, they're not in any kind of community. They don't know how to have friends. Or maybe even they're slightly less human because like they're on their devices like 9, 10, 12 hours a day or more. And so they get easily radicalized and like I think I don't even like to use the word MAGA. This might be like the second time I've ever said it out loud. I'm just doing it for you people. Um, but anyway, like I mean, like I think that like that somehow feeds and attracts and actually uplifts like in a very negative way. But I do believe everything is cyclical. I think this is we got a lot of work to do. Nobody can wear sleeves. We got so much work to do. But like I believe that this will peter out and then another wave will come and then we have to really maximize that wave of positivity and kindness and enlightenment and equity. I'm
I
done.
love it. I love it. I love it. That was a great speech. I love it, Brenda. And just to make sure, because we've only got about 5 minutes left, and I saw JJ, you're unmuted. I want to make sure we have time to hear from you. Hi, honey. Good to see you.
Hi. Yes, about 1,000 different thoughts, and a lot of them go together in my mind. What Brenda was saying about the friends, I love things that talk about the importance of connection and community. It sounds trite, but without it, virtually every vulnerable class is going to remain vulnerable. That's what you need. And even the references to being physically powerful, and then there's the power of like-minded people. And they've done research where that is the basis for gang members, is the search for male leadership, particularly. And they become a CEO, and these are very bright people. And so I actually know a woman who's my age, and she spent her life in Los Angeles working with gangs and very dangerous work, but that she had to fundamentally understand that they're searching for meaning that isn't there from families and so on. So and they get in the gang, they can play a role and so on. So that just hit me. And I heard something just very quickly. Rachel mentioned the transition into inhuman behavior, and many of you touched on that. And I heard something that really shocked me. When it came from the Gottmans, they're the famous marriage counselors, husband, wife, and they just kind of tell it like it is and so on. And they said that their number one question before they start with any couple was, and I thought they're going to say, do you want to save this marriage, or do you really love this person? It was none of that. It was about the other person. Do you believe that other person deserves kindness?
Ooh.
It gives me chills when I hear that. I thought, think what that's saying. And have all of us cross that line with people where we didn't believe they even deserved kindness. They needed to get what they deserved in our mind, or something. The whole situation made us deteriorate to a less than human level at that moment, for feelings that come from within. But I thought, wow, that puts a whole new spin on everything. And when you have guys in masks doing weird stuff and all the bad stuff that's happening, what they're saying is, I can identify you, number one, that was convenient, and I am threatened by you or whatever, but I don't believe you deserve kindness, and I'm going to treat you in an inhuman way. And so I have no conclusion to that little thing. It's that was just, as every one of you talked, there's all these points. I love books that save lives. I love the authors. It really doesn't matter what topic you're talking about. They always bring that open mind and that idea of the supportive community and the power of showing up. Kind of like Dr. Kim said, it was just there with my postcards. It had nothing to do with nothing. But they would have trouble then saying, well, whatever you, like me, an old person, I can no longer say all old people are whatever in a category because I met JJ or I met whomever. I can't say this about someone in the queer community because my really good friend was that. And now it doesn't make sense anymore. So I think it's harder to cross that line into inhumanness if you've had anybody show up in any capacity. So that's my mishmash of thoughts.
JJ, that was not a mishmash. That was so beautiful. And what a perfect way to wrap up our time together, right? Like I think I just love that you sort of took that all and came back to that place. Yeah, like are we seeing each other? Are we seeing each other as individuals, as humans, as deserving of kindness? And back to some of those previous points about like that's why it's so important that we all show up, right? As
Yes.
back to the authentic and being who we are, speaking it out loud, being allies to people who are speaking out loud. I am so proud of Books That Save Lives. I'm looking at Brenda and Duncan and Macklin and Krishna and our authors who are here and the friends who are here. I just it makes me so happy to be here with you. And JJ's right. No matter what topic we're looking at, I feel as if we all show up with this willingness to be open-minded and to find the love and to find the kitties, JJ. Thank you. So as Brenda said, we're hoping, fingers crossed, I haven't heard back from them yet, but we're hoping that our next one towards the end of the month is going to be Dr. John Duffy. And who else, Brenda?
Kathy Adams.
So
She's an expert on raising teen and tween girls in the age of anxiety.
Yeah, so and as Brenda so aptly pointed out, so much of this is, how are we showing up for the young people of our world? So hope to see you all again. It was really wonderful. I love to say this, and it's always true. It really matters that you show up. You make a big difference in your energy and whether you shared in the chat or spoke or didn't speak at all, but your energy of being here and supporting Books That Save Lives and these really important topics. It really does matter. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
wanted to add one little thing, which is that this will go up on our YouTube channel and it will be on our website, and then we'll also share it like on our social media and in our newsletter. I do feel like this was a really powerful, very deep, like an abiding a heart wisdom for the ages. So like, it will live on our YouTube, and like feel free to share it, and actually please do share it because
Yes.
I think that like a lot of what was said here today needs to be more widely transmitted to this world.
Yeah, and a very, very special extra thank you to Jodie, Dr. Kim, and Duncan for being our featured authors. And yes, Brenda. Like spread the news. And if you want to bring a friend next time you come, invite someone along to the Heart Wisdom panel so we can engage more people. All right, I'm so grateful to all of you. Mwah. See you next
Thank
time.
you. Happy
Bye.
Pride.
Happy Pride.
Oh, happy Pride. Yay.